Hi everyone,
I hope you are well.
and in the best of health. Welcome back. This is Zaid, and today we explore one of the most fascinating civilizations from the ancient Americas. Our focus is on the Aztec world, a people who rose in the Valley of Mexico, a culture built on resilience,
Ingenuity and a vision of order.
that shaped an empire. The Aztecs did not begin as rulers. They started as wanderers, a Nahua-speaking group,
Searching for a place promised in their legends.
According to their chronicles, they migrated for centuries, moving from Aztlan, a mysterious homeland whose exact location remains debated. Some scholars think it may have been in northwestern Mexico.
Others believe
It was more symbolic than real. They finally settled,
on an island in Lake Texcoco.
where they saw the omen their gods had foretold, an eagle perched on a cactus, holding a serpent. That vision marked the foundation of their capital, Tenochtitlan, in 1325 C. Before we move to our today, I want to say that this channel is user-friendly, no offensive content.
No misinformation
We explain things with respect, curiosity.
and authenticity.
What makes the Aztec rise so remarkable is how quickly they transformed from outsiders into central power holders. They were not the only culture in the region. The Valley of Mexico was already home to advanced societies like the Tepanecs, the Acolua, and remnants of the great Toltecs. The Aztecs built alliances
Fought wars.
and steadily expanded. By 1428, they had formed the famous Triple Alliance with Texcoco and Tlacopan. This coalition helped them dominate central Mexico, collecting tribute from dozens of subject towns. But unlike the image of a simple warrior nation, the Aztecs were also organizers, engineers.
And visionaries.
They constructed causeways to link their island city to the mainland and aqueducts to carry fresh spring water into Tenochtitlan. Their ability to adapt, to blend warfare with statecraft, and to root their identity in both myth and strategy made them more than conquerors. They became the heart of a civilization that thrived until the 16th century. The Aztec world was not only about war and rulers. At its heart, it was a civilization that structured everyday life with discipline and meaning. Society was highly organized. Nobles, called pipiltin, held positions of leadership, while the commoners, the Macahualtin, worked as farmers, artisans, and traders. At the base of society were the landless workers and servants, but even they had roles that connected to the larger system. What made the Aztec system unique was its dedication to education. Every child, whether noble or commoner, was required to attend school. This was rare in the ancient world. Boys were trained in practical skills, farming, craftwork, and military discipline. Girls learned weaving, cooking, and managing households, but they too received religious and cultural instruction. Noble children attended Kalmakak, schools that taught history, astronomy, law, and leadership. Commoners went to Tenochtitlan, where they focused on community service
And military training.
Religion was deeply tied to education. The Aztecs believed that humans had a responsibility to keep the world in balance. This sense of duty was taught from childhood. Their daily life was filled with activity and innovation. Markets such as Tlaloc were bustling centers of exchange. Here one could find not only maize and beans, but also cacao beans used as currency, fine obsidian blades, and feathers from distant lands.
Farming itself
Was a marvel of engineering. The Aztecs developed chinampas, artificial islands built on shallow lakes. These floating gardens were highly fertile, producing multiple harvests a year. Maize, chili peppers, squash, and tomatoes thrived in abundance. This system supported the large population of Tenochtitlan, which some historians estimate may have reached over 200,000 inhabitants before European contact. Festivals and rituals were part of daily rhythm. Men prepared for ceremonies, war dances, and offerings that reflected gratitude and cosmic duty. While religion was ever present, it did not overshadow art. The Aztecs valued poetry, music,
and sculpture.
Noble courts celebrated poets who spoke of love, fate, and the fleeting nature of life. Aztec warriors are often remembered, but the hidden truth is that this society also honored thinkers, healers, and wise men. In fact, philosophers known as Tlamatainim reflected deeply
On existence and knowledge.
They asked questions about the meaning of life, and their works still survive in fragments today. This blending of discipline, education, and artistry gave the Aztecs a balanced identity. They were more than conquerors. They were creators of order, builders of knowledge, and guardians of traditions that reached far beyond their empire. For the Aztecs, religion was not separate from life. It guided their politics, their calendars, their agriculture,
and even their wars.
The Aztec worldview saw the universe as fragile, a cosmic balance that humans had to maintain. Every sunrise was a victory of order over chaos,
and every ritual
was a way to keep the world alive. At the center of their belief system stood the great gods. Huitzilopochtli, the sun and war deity, was honored as a protector of the Mexica people. Tlaloc, the rain god, was essential for crops and fertility. Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, was remembered as a bringer of wisdom linked to creation myths, and Tezcatlipoca, the smoking mirror, symbolized fate and destiny. Temples were built as bridges between humans and the divine. The most famous was the Templo Maya in Tenochtitlán. It rose in tiers of stone with two shrines at the top, one for Huitzilopochtli and one for Tlaloc. Climbing its steep steps was a spiritual journey, a reminder of the power of God
and the duties of men.
Rituals often included offerings, feasts, music, and dramatic ceremonies. Priests wore elaborate costumes, with masks of jaguars and eagles, using incense and chants to connect with the divine.
War itself
was not only about conquest, it was tied to religion. The Aztecs saw the battlefield as a sacred space. They waged wars of expansion, but also flower wars, conflict staged to capture prisoners for ritual purposes. This was part of their belief that the sun needed strength to continue its path across the sky. The Aztec military was disciplined and highly organized. Young men trained from an early age. Success in battle brought prestige and social advancement. Capturing enemies alive was considered more honorable than simply defeating them. Elite warrior orders, such as the Eagle Warriors and Jaguar Warriors, fought with great skill. They wore fearsome costumes that displayed power and identity. Their weapons included obsidian-edged swords, spear throwers, and shields decorated with bright feathers. This fusion of spirituality and warfare is what gave the Aztecs both strength and vulnerability. It united their people with a common purpose, but also demanded a constant cycle of conflict and ceremony. Through religion and military, the Aztec state was able to expand rapidly and hold together a vast empire. But this same intensity would also become a point of tension when new forces entered their world. The Aztec Empire reached its height in the early 1500s. Tenochtitlan was one of the largest cities in the entire world, with wide causeways, aqueducts,
markets filled with goods
from hundreds of miles away. But in 1519, new arrivals came by sea. Led by Hernán Cortés, the Spanish forces entered the land.
At first,
they were received with caution and curiosity. The Aztec ruler Moctezuma II tried to manage this encounter through diplomacy. Gifts were exchanged, meetings were held, but mistrust grew on both sides. The Spanish formed alliances with native groups who resented Aztec tribute demands. These alliances gave them strength, while European weapons, armor, and unfamiliar tactics added further advantage. In 1521, after months of battle and siege, Tenochtitlan fell, its temples burned, its canals filled with rubble, and its people devastated by war and by disease, such as smallpox. The fall of the city marked the end of the Aztec Empire, but not the end of its memory. The legacy of the Aztecs is still alive today. Nahuatl, the Aztec language, is spoken by over 1 million people in Mexico. Aztec farming innovations, such as chinampas, inspire modern sustainable agriculture. Their poetry and philosophy are studied worldwide, revealing a culture that reflected on beauty, destiny, and the search for truth. The symbol of the eagle on a cactus, once seen as a divine omen, remains on the flag of modern Mexico.
It is proof
That the vision of Tenochtitlan still shapes identity centuries later. The Aztecs were not only warriors, they were engineers, philosophers, poets, and visionaries. Their story reminds us of the power of resilience, the fragility of empires, and the enduring strength of culture. All the information we provide comes from verified historical sources, including books, records, and archaeology. Sources used include The Aztecs, a very short introduction by David Carrasco, Aztec Thought and Culture by Miguel León Portilla, INA, Instituto Nacional de Antropología e Historia, Mexico, Archaeological Findings from Templo Maya Excavations. Codices such as the Florentine Codex, translated by Bernardino de Sahagún. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of the Aztecs, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel Thrones of Knowledge. Do not forget to press the bell icon to get notified on time and suggest our next topic in the comment section.
to make our experience together even better.